All right. Questions as we start the day off. Thursday.
The poster, does it have to, it can be done on Illustrator?
Yeah, it should be predominantly Illustrator, yes.
Okay.
Okay, other questions?
The project is due by the end of the year, right? Like December 8th?
Yeah, well, the poster, I think I said December, I want to say 2nd, something like that.
Okay.
And then the last project, our little InDesign project, that's going to be December 8th, whatever the last day of class is. I think it's the 8th. I'm just about done typing that up, so look for that coming up on the website soon.
So in short, there is two projects. One is the movie poster and whatever the InDesign poster is. Sorry,
Yeah.
I went to my appointment yesterday. Or the
No, that's fine. Yeah, so it's the travel poster,
Uh-huh.
and then they're going to have a small little magazine layout with InDesign.
Okay.
But that's going to go quick. I'll start doing like some demos next week on that. It'll go very, very quickly. Trust me on this.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm. Questions on InDesign thus far? I know we've kind of gone over putting text in, putting some photos in. We've gone about text wrap, meaning text going around a box or a box with like a picture in it. I think we did some circle examples with that. Today I want to go over some style sheets and master pages and kind of what they are and how do we utilize those. It's kind of a little bit more advanced, and we'll talk about that. But anything on the basics thus far? Everybody kind of getting it, making sense to you? No one's like completely lost at this point, lost in space? Anybody? Everybody's here. We're all on the same place. No one's on the space station.
It hasn't been giving me any problems, so
Okay.
so far so good for me.
Awesome. Good to hear. Everybody else doing okay with it? As I stare at the black screens. Yes, good.
So far, so good. I do want to say to everyone that InDesign is complicated in the beginning, but it actually gets better. I used to hate it, like I mentioned before, but honestly, making I guess your publications or just any poster or any design on that is actually, to me now, much more better than Photoshop or Illustrator, but obviously have their different uses.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said, I use it for letters, resumes, all that kind of stuff. It's so much easier than Word. So if you've been using Word, Word's easy because you get it, but I'm going to tell you the InDesign will allow you to do a lot more with it. So, and as a designer, we always kind of artists, we always want to make things look better. So you're right, it will get easier. So that's what I'm trying to check now, make sure everybody is with us so far. No one's totally freaking out. Like I said, we're going to keep pushing through with this, and I'll definitely be going through examples when we get to the project and show you how I would do it, etc. So okay, anything else before we dive in today? All right, so let's get doing it. Oops. Okay, sorry about that. Let me get my share going. Okay. Again, if anything comes up as we're going, just chime in or drop something in the chat and we will slow down and go back over it. So like I said, today I want to kind of focus in on style sheets, paragraph styles, master pages, and kind of what they are. So let me get a new document going here. at first. I'm gonna build it out. Hopefully my InDesign is working here. Come on. Oh, good. All right, so we'll close that out. I'm going to give it a few more pages just so we can function here. So I just literally push the plus, added some pages. So 6 and 1 end up lining up if they printed it to be the cover and the back cover. And then we have the inside of the magazine going on. And just know that when we have this kind of setup, the printers fully get this and they will kind of work and make sure that everything is right. So the inside of page 1 is really page 2. That's kind of the inside cover. And then there's a page here and a page here. And then we have the inside back cover and the back cover. Okay. So in theory, I need to actually have one more group because how they have to put this thing together, typically they print these out and fold them. So I really need to have something like that. So inside, inside, inside. Okay. To get that proper spread going on. But that you'll get that figured out as you start to work as to how they tend to put these things together and staple them to make a magazine. And, you know, and if you're doing something, you know, larger like a magazine, you know, this one has 64 pages. Okay, so they always will have it. So you can't have 63, you gotta have 64 because you gotta have the numbers because in the end, they print these things out and staple it. Okay, so what inside pages become, if you actually physically took this apart with a stapler, something like page, let's go back here, page 46 is actually, the front and back is 45, 46, but then the other side is something like 32 and 30, or 33 and 34 type of thing. That's the way they print it all up. So, but the printer, the commercial printer will do that for you. InDesign does some of that, and you can actually print out things in kind of a order to be bound. If you hit print, it'll give you those options to kind of, it'll flip the pages as needed to print out, and you can actually staple it together, kind of a binding thing. All right, so let me get started here. Let me just first save this document as we go, because I was having issues yesterday. One desktop. Okay, and I'm going to put in some pictures and some text really quick. The other day we were playing with that alligator picture, crocodile picture actually. I'm just going to draw in some stuff. Mandy, I'm going to go find some quick pictures. Where's my crocodile? I left my crocodile. All right, so I've dropped in a picture. It's obviously way big. Okay, so this is where I can come into my fitting. So fit content to frame. Okay, and now we've got that in place. And then we're going to have some text over here. And I'm going to grab some, I had some text saved up yesterday on the internet. Crocodile versus alligator. So the Everglades, actually where this picture was taken, is one of the few places in the world where you can actually find alligators and crocodiles living in coexistence with each other. The crocodile is saltwater, basically, so they have to live close to the ocean, but the alligator can live completely on freshwater, and they actually live together. So this is actually a picture of a crocodile, and it was big. It's like 7 foot. So I don't think I would be in the boat, that's for sure. And you guys be in the boat with the crocodile floating around?
No.
No, right? Yeah, I'm like, dude, that was crazy. That's why I was like, wow, what a cool picture. There's a lady in a boat, and like, that's just nuts. I was just
I would. That'd be awesome.
You would? Dude, you're braver than I am.
Actually, when
I-
I was in Louisiana, I was
Uh-huh.
on a alligator tour
Okay.
where we were on one of those flat boats that has like
Mhm.
the fan on the back and
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
And so our tour guide, he literally just took us from like where he knew all the alligators were. And so we just went from one to the next. And there was one that was like 9 feet, I think. It was gigantic.
Wow.
Courts, this was like during the winter, so they were all asleep and they weren't moving, but freaked me out a little bit seeing this giant alligator just sleeping next to us.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was like on this like dock area basically above. So this croc, the rangers told me it was a female, and she lives nearby there. She just came like swinging by, right? And I was like, oh my God, it's like it's so close. You're like, what if I fell in? Would she bite out of like instinct, not to eat, but just kind of like they're scared, or they just go away. I was like, I don't want to do that. But I was just like kind of amazed at how big these creatures were in the wild. Yeah, just kind of cool, right? So that was the Everglades. So take a trip to the Everglades. I'm gonna put it in a box here. I'm gonna do a little headline. We'll do this. So imagine this being um, a magazine article, and again, we're going to just go through some properties or things that we can do to speed up the process. Okay, and mainly by doing style sheets and paragraph styles and such. Yeah. One time, no big deal, right? I mean, if I'm just doing a 6 or 8 page magazine, not as big a deal. But if I'm doing this over and over again, like this magazine comes out every quarter, that I get, National Geographic, we all know that comes out once a month. What they're doing is presetting the standards as to, what typefaces they use, and how do they want these things to lay out, and then the headers, okay, these little things at the top with the numbers or information, and the page numbers at the bottom. They preset these things, so as they come back each month, they just drop the new data in, the new words, the new pictures, and they kind of keep going. Okay, they don't have to reformat every time. So that's what I'm going to go through today, is how to kind of preset these things up. So if you do get a gig where you're doing newsletters or flyers or brochures, things that are common, you pretty much have it preset. You just have to put the new information in that's provided to you. Okay. So right now I just dropped some text in and a picture, and there's a headline there. There's no formatting that was done to it. Just kind of went to default, whatever was kind of in there. But I want to kind of go through the items that we typically will set up styles for. Okay, so we have a headline. And I'm just going to type these all out real quick, and so then we can come back and format them here. So I have a headline, and then I'm just going to option drag, and then we have the we're going to call it a subhead. It's kind of a headline within an article. Again, pretty common. And you can have multiple ones of these. We're just going to go through one right now. The body copy, which is the words that are on the page. We're also going to have something typically like a caption, which is underneath the photo or within the photo, explaining what that is. And then we're going to have things like, I'm going to call it the header, which is information at the top that we have to kind of put in, and we're going to probably put that in on our master page. And then also page numbers, because as publications get larger, you're going to typically name them. And then you're going to also have things where you're going to have to deal with the paragraphing itself, right? The styles that go on in the paragraph, justified, unjustified, these kind of items that we're seeing here on the dropout. And I'm just going to copy some text from this article so we can do it. So what I'm doing up here in this case on page 1 is really kind of a temporary thing, but it's a way that I can kind of see what I'm doing as I set this up, and then I can set up my styles to design. Okay, And ideally, once you've done this, and you can bring in and import paragraphs and character styles, or you could save a document kind of as a template, so everything's kind of built in. And then as I open up this new document that has all my styles into it, I'm just going to say, okay, I need to give it 60 pages, and we're going to take it from there. Let me just get off this. It's blinking into my background and bugging me. All right. So this page is kind of like my demo page to kind of get things the way I want and visually see them before we make our styles and so forth. So before that, we're going to go into master pages first, and then we'll get into styles, paragraph styles, and character styles with that. So on my master page, I'm going to put in the header. So again, if we look at National Geographic as an example, again, it's not on every page, okay, because they can take the headers on and off. Let me find a page with a header if I have it. They don't do a lot up there. Let me check this other magazine. And we'll go through how to change the headers if we need to put them in or not on there. It's not doing it either, so we'll just go wing it. So the header is something that we want to put, we're going to put on every kind of page or every other page with that. And again, we're going to come in here to kind of set up and mock up our type. So this is everything's default to do with this Minion Pro. If that's not what I want. So let me just kind of go into my typefaces. And again, these are the last 10 typefaces I used with InDesign. So they're going to kind of pop up here as to what's going on. So I'm going to do, we'll do Anton. Maybe do Muso Psalms. Okay, so I'm going to use this as a header. All right, and I'm just going to kind of, we're going to make it italic. And I'm going to call, for what I'm going to use as my header, we'll use, you know, I'm going to use the word National Geographic. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking about. I'm looking at it here. Is it look appropriate? Is my sizing okay? Is my color okay? Because I can change the color. And we're going to just give it a color just to call it different. Okay. And then we're going to do some page numbering. And I'm going to also, I use the Muso. So I'm going to use Muso down here for my page numbering. Muso Sans. I'm going to keep that at 12 point, and yeah, we're going to keep that 12. I'm going to up this to 14. So what I'm doing is kind of looking at things and figuring things out. Again, I can change this, but the whole point is to try to work out as much as you can. So I'm going to go over to my pages here, and up top above our work pages, we see a master, and then a none. Okay, and if we look down at our documents, we see little A's in the corner. And what that's meaning is all of these pages have the A master applied to it. And if I double click on my masters up here, you can see, let me just zoom out so you can see a little bit more. There's nothing on it, okay? Nothing going on. So anything I put on a master page will be copied over to these pages. So the master pages are things that we want to have repetitive on every page, in this case, that has an A master. Okay, so one of the items I'm going to use is that header. So let me just come back here. I'm just going to copy this whole box. And I come back to my A master, paste it in, and I'm just going to move that up. And I just want it to kind of float above the page. All right, so I'm lining it up to where I want it to be, and that's good. And then over here on this side, on the right side, I'm going to actually copy this because I want to keep the same typeface going. Make it easier for myself. And I can, again, line these up, and I'm going to do that in a second here. So we're going to kind of make like they have a slogan. Is that good? Okay. So in this case, I'm gonna zoom out. Oops, zoom out a little bit more. And I'm gonna select these two items. Okay, and then I can go into align, and we have my aligns. So I have that out. There we go. So I want to have them on the same level. Right now, I know one's higher than the other. So if I do this, they align to the bottom. So I know they're the same height all the way across, which is perfect. And on this one, I'm going to give it a right justified. And I want it to come in. I want to kind of line up with that edge there. So I'm just going to kind of manually move it in so I get it lined up. And now we are good with that. And then I also need to do the page number. Okay, and we told that over here to be the Musée, let me just check my properties. Musée Sans at a 12 point. Okay, so I'm coming back over here to master A, and I'm going to basically draw in a box. Okay, and it's asking for it knows my typeface here. And I can tell it to be Musée Sans 500 and 12 point. But I need it to be, I'm setting this up so it will be numbering pages automatically. So with that area blanking, I'm going to go to type, insert special character. Okay. And it says markers, and I'm going to put current page. Okay. So when I do that, it put in this A. Okay. Basically, it's kind of signifying this is where the typeface is going to go. And I can change that here, right? I can make a change to what I want that to be. If I want it to be a different color, I can. All right, so anything I do here is going to pop up on the next page or on all the pages that say A. And again, I'm going to just copy this over because I've already just kind of formatted it real quickly. And I'm copying it to my other page on the master. And I'm going to kind of put it here, and I want that to be right justified. And I'm going to zoom out because I want to select them both. And I'm going to align to the bottom. So now they should be in line with each other as they are. Perfect. I'm going to save because we haven't saved in a couple of minutes. So now when I come back to my pages, you see they're all still A. But if I click on them, you see they got a page number now. And you see at the top, it says National Geographic. Over here, it says See the World. So all the pages are now numbered with the header at the top. Okay, because I did it on the master. So anything I do on a master will be applied over here. So if I did even something simple like a box, and we're going to give it a color, you'll see that start to show up on every page that has an A master. Okay, so master, things you do on a master page are things you want to show up on multiple pages. Now we can have many masters, okay, but we'll start with A and we'll add a B and we'll keep going. You can rename these if you want to, but these are elements that you're going to find on many pages. You don't put text boxes or image boxes on a master page typically because we're going to be changing things. Okay, we're going to change with each particular layout. So the master's only kind of things that you want. Things would also go on a master might be colors of pages or so forth. So I'm going to have the A master, and I'm going to make a second master. Okay, so I'm going to do under, you come up here to A, and I'm just going to actually, oops, cancel. I'm going to delete this box off of there for now. And I want to make a new master. So I'm going to click on the little hamburger drop down menu here. And I'm going to do a new master. And when I get it, I get this little prefix, meaning I can call it something else in 2 pages. And I want to, it says here, based on master. And I'm going to base it on master A because I want to keep it with the page numbers being the same place, same size, everything at this point. And then I'm going to maybe do some color shifting but I want it to be based upon the master A. So now I brought up master B. So when I click on B, it looks the same as A at this point, except I got a B at the bottom. But I can change colors here. So I'm going to change up here on the master. I'm going to click here on the master page, and I'm going to, oops, override the all master page items. Okay, and that's going to let me come in and actually select them. And I'm going to, in this case, change the color just so we can visually see it. Actually, I'm going to make it white. You're going to see in a second when I'm going to do it white. And then we're going to do this one also white or paper. Because what I want to do on the B master is give it a color. So I'm going to actually physically draw a box. Okay. And I'm going to give that box a fill. Now I don't have the colors that I want. So let me mix one up. I'm going to kind of do like a light brown. Just kind of doing a kind of a tannish paper color. Give it a little color pop so you can see it and click OK. So this is what I'm going to want on like these separate pages. Now I got to move this to the back. So object, arrange, send to back. And when I did that, you can start to see the words and so forth are going to start to pop up. Okay, because they're there. Now I'm looking at this and the white probably is not the right color. So let me just switch this out to something else. We'll go with dark blue over here also. Give that dark blue also. Okay. Saving as I go. And that's so now when I come back to my pages, come on. You see nothing changed because there's nothing being done. But if I want that B master to be applied to say pages 4 and 5, I just literally drag it down. Let me unclick this first to get it going here. Come on. Okay. And I just drag B down. I can just drop it in the middle and you see, make sure it's on both sides. Now they say B in the corner, okay, instead of A, and you see it's got this tan background. So now I can literally put pictures or images on top of this, and it's going to have a tan background to it. Okay, so that's a way you can kind of change pages. So I I want certain pages white, and I want certain pages another color. I can do that just by dropping in that master. And it's going to be applied to anything. So if I want, for example, page 2 and 3 now to have B master, I just literally drag it down and I've got that as a B. Okay, and then I can go, now I want this one to be A. I just drag the A down. Okay, and get the A. Now that's defaulted back to an A master. If I want no master, say the back cover, or I'm going to make the front a cover, and I'm going to do my own thing there, put a big picture in, I'm going to get rid of that stuff I worked in. I can literally just drag none. Okay, so now there is no page numbering on there. If you look, even though I've gotten rid of that page 1, it still says page 2. Okay, because even though page 1 does not have a page number on it, page 2 is page 2, and the computer knows that, so therefore it's going to be doing that. So for some reason, I don't want page 2 on this. I want to kind of keep it the same, but I just don't want the number on there. You can do Command and Shift and click on the box, and it allows you to access it. Okay, so if I just normally click on top of a master page element, it doesn't let me do anything. I can't select it, I can't move it, I can't change the color, I can't whatever. But if I hold Command, Shift, and then I click, it allows me to now come in and edit. Okay, and again, this is helpful when you might have something like a picture. We'll drag that off the side and we're going to reproportion it. Now I can't see the page numbers. Like, what happened to the page number? I know it's there. Okay, so I can then kind of move this up a little bit and know this is here, and I can take the object, arrange, and bring it to the front. So now when I pull that picture in, you can see it's on top. And in fact, I can even change the color because I want it to show up. So I'm now going to make it white on top of that. And I'm going to actually just make this picture a little bigger. Okay, so you can see we kept the master page items in place, but I went through and did some minor modifications, meaning I released it so I could change the color. And then it was also released so I could take it from the back to the front. Okay, so now I can see it. All right, it's on top of the photograph where normally it would be behind, okay, with the elements of the page. Does that make sense? So just because we put something on a master page doesn't mean it's permanent, doesn't mean we can't go in and modify or edit. But we can. Okay, there's times exactly like this where you want the page number on there, but you got to bring it to the front. In this case, bring it to the front, but I also need to change the color because the current color of red just does not show up well on top of the dark photograph. Okay, does that make sense for master pages? Questions on that? Ignore this A, that's just saying it's based upon A. That's all that is. Because it means master A is on this B master. Okay, that's why it's showing you, just like it would show it over here. Okay, but it doesn't mean that you can't change it and modify it. Okay. Questions on the master pages? What they're used for, if that makes sense. Okay. So let's go into styles real quick. So in the styles, like I said, we have a headline, we have subheads, body copies, and a caption. And this is where we kind of determine what we want to do. So I'm going to make a headline, and I'm going to determine my typeface for that. And let me see what I want to use. Again, it gives you a little preview. I'm going to do this Albalino stencil, and I'm going to make it big, right? So here's where I'm going to make my font size bigger. I'm going to make it 30. Let's start with 36 point. Okay, and we're going to leave it at black. We can come and change this later with the style. We're going to have a subhead, and subheads kind of go within an article. So let me do my body. No, we'll do this separate. We're going to do subhead, and I'm going to do a sans serif. We'll do this Allegra, and we're going to do it in a bold. We can go through and double check and see what we want. Bold there, and I'm going to track it out. Right, so I'm going to make it, give it some space between the letters. I'm going to exaggerate it, bump it out a lot with 100, and I'm going to give it a special color, the magenta here, just so we can see it. And then for the body copy, I want to go with a serif. So let me see what serif I want. We'll do Albertina, and I'm going to keep it 12. Most of your body copies are going to be in the 10, 11, 12, 13 point size. Again, it depends on the font. A 12.1 font is not the same height as a 12 point in another font. Gets a little confusing, but they're slightly different. So 12, anywhere from 10 to 12, 13 is kind of very common for body copy, books, magazines, newspapers, etc. So I'm going to keep that there. And I'm going to just kind of keep the tracking the same. I'm not worried about the leading. We're going to fix that later. And I'm going to keep that in black. And then we just see what I want. We'll do medium. Just give it a little bit of thing. I'm actually going to let it out a little bit. Let me just do 10. So this is kind of where you're kind of making just quick adjustments. And my caption, I'm gonna again go with, we did the Allegra, and I'm gonna do that in an italic. Come on. All right, and I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller, and I'm gonna also let that out, retract that out a little bit just to make it a little bit more legible. Okay, so now we've got 4 major character styles over here that we can work with. All right, so character styles here, right now there are none. So I'm gonna add one, I'm gonna hit plus, and what I'm gonna do is select the item that I want to work with. So I'm gonna hit plus, and I'm gonna rename this, I'm gonna double click on it, and I'm gonna rename this headline. And you should name your styles so you get what they are, right? Because if you start new in style 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, you're gonna get confused and not know what the heck they are. And if I look here, it will tell me what I'm doing. I'm using the Albino heavy stencil 36 point. Okay, I can also scale and do some stuff there, nothing there. I can change the color if I want to. All right, open type, don't worry. I can underline, I can strike through, I can do things with it. But right now I just want to kind of have the general. So I picked my typeface and it's here. So I'd like to check it first, make it, and then it just brings it over. You can obviously select things here and do it manually. But I like to kind of pre-do it so I know what I'm looking at, and then we go. So we click OK. Now we got a new style, we have a character style. Now I'm gonna do this one. So I'm gonna click, double click on the character style. I'm gonna call this subhead. And I'm not basing it on anything. You can base it on other styles. So if you're kind of building that way, I've already built them, so I know what I'm doing. And we can see we have the name here, what it is. Size, it should show up my size there. I think we did that at 24. I don't know. We're gonna make it 24. And then we have the color of magenta. Yeah. You know what? Let me go in and edit that. I don't want that 24 so big. It should be 18. Okay. Now I'm going to do my body style. Okay. Let me just click there, click plus. I'm going to rename it. Body copy. And move on. And then we got the last one. Caption. Okay. So by doing this, I'm presetting or predetermining things that I can put in here. So I'm going to do down here, I'm going to do a little caption, write a caption. Okay. So right now, again, it's going back to my default type. If I select this and I do down here caption, you'll see it change the typeface. Now, because it's on dark, I want to make that manually override that. And I'm just going to make that white. Okay, but it picked the typeface that I had used up here in the caption. Okay. Likewise, if I select over here, right now it's saying there's none. I'm going to select this. I'm going to give it the body copy. And you're going to see, watch, it's going to automatically change it up. Boom, it changed the typeface to be exactly what I wanted. So as I keep building articles, all I got to do is drop text in, and I'm literally clicking the box, telling it to be body copy, clicking the box to make subhead. So if we have a subhead that was written in here, Croc versus alligator, right? Return. I can say I want this to be a subhead. I can select it, hit subhead, and you'll see it made that change automatically. Now I did over here, I've got the headline that was written in, and I can just literally at this point, just click the box and say it's a headline. Boom, all the headline power. And now I can go through and adjust this. I can modify this. I can still enlarge it, but it gives me my base that I'm starting from. So I may go, okay, I need bigger on that. Okay, in this case, I want to move this up, and I'm going to move the word down. Okay. And then I'm looking at my gutter, right? I want to keep text off the gutter. So I'm going to see if I can move this over. And I'm almost there, but that E in the apostrophe. So I'm going to actually scale this down a little bit so I get it all on one side and not in my gutter. Oops. I think that will work. Okay. And I can position and I can move things, but I've got these predetermined setups here. And you see this little plus? What that's telling me is I've overridden something that was in there besides the color. Meaning in this case, I changed the size of that typeface. Okay, it didn't really care down here when I clicked the caption that I changed the color because I didn't do any changes. But if I do make it bigger, you see it got a plus. That's just kind of a visual indicator that you did a change to what you set up as a style. Okay, so color it doesn't care about, but it does care about the size. So if you make it bigger or smaller, it's just kind of visually telling you you did a change, so you can make that adjustment if you need to, or unadjust it because you didn't mean to. Let me give a save going on here. All right, so we're good because my computer's been acting up. So character styles, again, are different things within the document. So one thing we didn't do, though, is the paragraph styles. Okay, so up here, we've got this, and I know this is going to be a body copy, so I can apply the body copy style to it. But I didn't do any paragraphing, meaning I didn't say I want it justified, unjustified, whatever. It's kind of default. So I'm going to want it to be justified with the bottom line or last line to be left align. So it's going to adjust. And it puts it in at whatever the body copy was, whatever the typeface was. And now I've done this here. Now I'm going to add in some leading. So right now it's at 14.4. I'm going to just stretch it out a little bit. So I'm giving it more space between lines as a paragraph style. Okay. And again, I can make all these kind of adjustments here. And once I'm happy with it, I come over here and do a plus. And I'm going to just kind of name this. Oops. I'm going to edit, make sure we're looking right. I'm going to call this body. I'm going to call it the body. All right, so I know what that means. Now, it's again, it tells me what the typeface was. You can do things like add in tabs, indentation, borders, shading, hyphenation. Remember we talked about, can we do hyphenation or not? You can tell it here what you want to do and how you want it to have better spacing or fewer hyphenations. Okay, you can set some standards up, meaning it has to be at least 5 letters a word to hyphenate. What I'm doing here, these are the default, but you can change this. It will only do it after the first 2 letters, and it will only do a hyphenation before the last 2, and it will limit 3, meaning only 3 kind of in a row. It kind of keeps it numbered so you don't have hyphenation after hyphenation going on. The justifications, okay, the columns, we can do some drop caps. We'll do that manually. I'll show you that in a second. Color, all that kind of stuff can be preset here in our paragraph style. Once we're happy, okay, I'm just going to hit OK. And now we've got this as a body. So if I look down here, if I look at this, you'll see that this text has got a rag to it. It's got an edge. If I come up here and hit body, it now justified it and it let it out. Okay, we got more leading. Likewise, when I click here, okay, right now there's nothing. Boom, it's been let it out. And if I add an additional article over here, I'll make another box. Remember, we get the red over text. Box going on like we have here. That means there's text. So I'm going to double click or click on it. I get the loaded text, and I can come over here to where I want it to drop, and I can drop it into this box. Okay, so now that text has been over here, and I would probably also just give it the click the box so I make sure we're in the body style, which I think we are. There we go. So we're consistent. All right, so the text goes from here to here, and we're in the same style that's going on. Okay. But it makes it really easy to, again, to kind of keep that going. Again, it's not, we're in a small document here, but if we had hundreds of pages, you kind of set these things up right away, and it makes a lot of sense as you kind of keep going. Right? You're like, okay, I need another article. What kind of, you're not having to manually come back and change everything. You set it up once in a style, and now it will continue. Okay, and I'm just going to make sure that that is the body style and it did continue. Okay. So that's a paragraph style. And you can set these up as many times or as different as you want each time. So again, it's an easy way of kind of clicking. So in this case, if I know I want my words to be in the body style, I don't have to click it first to be character. All I got to do is go to paragraph style and click it, because the character style is built into the paragraph style. So character styles can be built into paragraphs, but paragraph styles cannot be built into character. Does that make sense? All right, questions? Styles, paragraph or character, and or master pages. That makes sense? Who's confused? I'm not that good, I know. We've got a question. Someone's like, what did he just do? Nothing? Oh, I'm not good. You guys are gonna give me an ego with all this. Questions? Nothing? Did you get it? How about that? If you don't have questions, you guys get it? That make sense? Thumbs up? Yeah, I got a couple thumbs up popping up. Okay. All right. All right.
I have to review the video because
Okay.
I'm in a constant state of confusion.
Okay. Well, I'll get the videos up. I'll upload, get this downloaded and upload it, and we'll get that done today. And it won't be like right away, but I'll get it done today. So you can go back over it the last, couple classes if you have questions about it. But as you review a video, like when we get class next Tuesday, tell me. Okay. Next week we only have Tuesday because Thursday is Turkey Day or football day. I was a proud papa yesterday. My 9-year-old, almost 10-year-old. So, oh, Thanksgiving, that's football. So it was kind of like, yeah, she's getting it. She's getting it. It's football. I know there's more to it, but it's a nice day of football. All right, let me check everybody came in attendance wise. So work on your posters. We got time. There's no rush. But open up InDesign. Start playing with it. The style sheets. All this. I mean, this is good to know, but it's not like a deal-breaking thing. You got to do it for the project. But it does make life easier as you start to go, and it also kind of makes you think about, what am I doing? Did I pick the right typeface? Did I select everything right? Because that's an important part of everything we do as artists and designers, is making sure we're picking the right one. We've got a multitude of options out there. I've got probably 1,000 typefaces on my computer, at least. It's too many. And I just downloaded some more the other day. Because it was like there was just 1 or 2 that were in this set that I was like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. Take the time and look at it and make the proper selection. It does make a difference. It really does. I get these purchase orders from some of my clients, and the numbers, whatever typeface they pick, are like, sometimes it's hard. Is that an 8 or is that a 6? And again, the scale they're using was just too small. And all I had to do was kind of a designer could have just simply made it a little bit bigger So now that they have the forms, like everything would come out right. But I sit here and sometimes with my, the magnifier on your phone going, what is that number? Or if I get it wrong, like they asked for 6 of the items and I sent them 8, or they asked for 8 and it looked like a 6 type of thing. And to me, those are things that could be corrected through design. So I think it does make a difference. Sometimes we just kind of ignore it. And it's good to print things out and check it, and does it read the way you want? Because we zoom in so much on our computers, we don't even know what's going on some days. So making the proper selection, the proper sizing, the proper colors, all that can really make a big difference in everybody's life and how we work and organize and do things. So we're not struggling. And yes, you might be, 18, have incredible eyesight, but at some point you're going to be, 50, and your eyes are going to be like, you're going to be wearing little like zoomer lenses. Okay. So you could see what's going on in your screen. So it's like, can you make things better for all? And again, we're not talking accessibility and those kind of things. We're just talking about making things better for people in general. Okay. And I think that's part of what design should be doing, is making life better for people, right? I mean, it already does when you have something that's eloquently designed and beautiful, but can we make the function a little bit better? Can we make things that are adjustable to other people? Like like on your phone, you can make things, or your laptop, you can make things bigger or smaller based upon yourself. But colors and positioning and how things relate to each other, that's a benefit of design. And I want you guys to be thinking about those little things, those little nuances. They make a big difference. All right. Questions? Making sense? All right. So that's what today was style sheets and or styles and master pages. Okay. And again, over the weekend, open up InDesign, work with it a little bit, work on your posters. We'll go back through that a little bit more on Tuesday, and then I'll start to show you how to kind of lay these things out, the magazines, and I'll get that spec sheet typed out for you. All right, anything for the good of the group? All right, guys, if that's no questions or such, have a good weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday. All right. Thank you.
See you guys next time.
Thank you.
Professor
Yes.
Professor Ross, I have something to kind of show you. It has to do something with the poster and stuff. If I can
You want to show it to me? You say?
Yeah, this is not official. It's like a runner, not runner, more like an idea of what I wanted to do. So
Okay. All right, try it now. I think
Right.
the share is on.
this is what I'm currently thinking of so far.
Ah, cool.
It's not perfect, if you will, and it's not gonna be officially perfect once you get it out.
Mhm.
But just a certain idea that I kind of wanted to do with the poster and stuff. So
I like the ideas. Yeah. You probably won't need like a big green box at the bottom. You can probably just put the text and do it in a white or something like that, because your logo also is already in white, so that's going to make sense.
Okay.
So I do that when I have to, but in this case, I don't think you're going to need to. That look good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Keep working that up.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. See you
All right,
Tuesday.
you too.